Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It's taking a little bit for people to get in here. That's okay. Yeah, doing this. I'm doing this from my car this morning, and I have the little man, and we were. I was dropping him off at school, so that's why it's coming from the car this morning. Hey, AVA, how's it going? Uh, so I hope you're all doing well. Native, good morning. And I really wanted to do a live this morning because there is things happening and updating that I really want to discuss. Good morning, Juggalass. Good morning, Jessica. Good morning, Joan. See you guys. I'm trying to make sure I get all you guys on my phone. It's harder. Good morning, Pam. Yeah, it's harder on my phone because like it only lets me see one comment at a time, or I have to look at the big window, and the big window is actually smaller, so it's harder for me to see. Good morning, Tim. So I will try to address all your guys' stuff and try to, say hello and good morning to all of you. Um, but what I wanted to talk about John and Lynette this morning because there was an update last night. Apparently, they now have a puppy, and according to what Michelle posted, and I've got the screenshot. It was posted in the Fleas chat. Uh, the puppy is to be a service dog for Harley Grace. And Harley Grace has a condition that she can't metabolize certain foods. So yeah, and they said they're training the dog to be a service dog, and people were saying, I saw some comments. Um, can I get a shout out for my son Orion? He turns 6 on Saturday. Oh, happy birthday! Happy birthday to that young man. Yeah, absolutely. Whoa, why did this switch to? There we go. I don't know why it switched. Um, but yeah, the it was being said that the service dog that they needed someone to train the service dog, and that's technically untrue. You can absolutely train your own service dog. You can. I do not recommend it. And this is a subject of which I have a lot of knowledge because I've got Glory, who you can see back there. Hey, Glory. Glory. She does not like the car. So, um, yeah. So you can train your own. Yeah. Happy birthday, Orion. 6 years old. That's a big one. Uh, but yeah, the you can train your own service dog. I don't recommend it, and here's why I don't recommend it. First off, I've been attacked over Glory. I have been physically attacked. You can watch the videos. I've been also verbally attacked. I've got some of those up on my channel. You can go into the service dog harassment videos, and for when I was physically attacked, they told the people that they told the cops that I had attacked them, and that my dog was not a service dog. Well, they the cops, they were threatening me with, well, if we have to arrest you, your dog's going to be taken away. I do not know why he keeps doing this. Hey, Big Dirt, welcome, welcome. I'm not. I'm on the mobile, so it's hard to do a lot of the stuff that I normally do. But yeah, they were gonna arrest me and take Glory to the pound. And but what really saved me is, service dogs don't have any type of documentation. There's nothing required. All that's required is that they are task trained to provide a medical service. I'm trying to see what. Oh, thank you, AVA. Yeah, they just have to provide a medical service. There's no other documentation. But Custom Canines gives me because I had to go through some training with them before I got the dog, to be one of their official dog handlers. So I have a card that shows me as a dog handler, and I keep it in her vest. And she had her vest on that day, and I told the cops, I'm like, if you go in there, you'll see that I have my service dog handler card. That's for me. It's not a requirement. And after they saw that and that it was from Custom Canines, they were like, oh, okay, yeah. So Glory was trained by Custom Canines. I could have trained her myself. I could have trained any dog, my own. But having that third party saved me from being arrested. I probably would have been arrested and then had to prove my innocence. Even though it's innocent until proven guilty, they just look at you very suspiciously. They thought I specifically went in to the they thought I went into that restaurant to protest and cause a problem. That's was not the case at all. Hey, good morning, Coop. So yeah, you can train your own service dog. I don't recommend it. The other reason I don't recommend it is the dog has to pass temperament training. You carry your prescriptions. I mean, that's whatever you need to do. Uh, but they can only ask you, is your dog a service dog? What is your dog trained to do? And it's got to be a medical service that the dog provides. So, for as an example, Glory is compression trained. If I start having an anxiety or a panic attack, she's going to jump on me. She'll like, just kind of jump up and or put her paws on me just to let me know, hey, you have to calm yourself down. Good morning, Larry. Hope you guys are doing well. Um, Watching a couple of your videos here recently. Um, but yeah, so Glory is compression trained to alert me if I'm having any type of attack. That is her number one training. She's got others. For instance, she can take off my socks. That was because they thought she was going to go to a veteran with mobility issues, but that veteran ended up passing away. And that's why I got moved up on the wait list and I got her so fast. The other thing is she's like if hey hey Georgie, oh you're just gonna fan the fuel of people saying that we are sleeping together. Uh, a lot of people out there like to think that me and Georgie are having an affair from across the United States. Crazy. Fully monetized. That is awesome. Congratulations. Good morning, heroes, Chris. Congratulations to the Huffs. I knew they would make it. Yeah, and for those of you who followed, uh, you know, you found them through here. Thank you so much. But that really, they did that all on their own. They were already well on their way to being monetized. So glad that they can make some money off their hard work. But yeah, she's also she will nuzzle me. She'll literally put her head right up here next to mine if I have a nightmare. And she normally sleeps underneath my bed. When it's cold though, she's snuggled up right against me. But if she's under the bed and I wake up in the middle of the night, she will come and lay next to me. Did you get the indoor theme park? No, we actually didn't make it. We talked about, but we did get to Pinball Hall of Fame, and I'll put that video out later on today. Uh, let them think what they want. Uh, Logistically, that would be difficult. Well, Larry, that is it's well deserved for you guys. So very happy for you. Uh, but yeah, so that's the training that Glory has for me. They're all medical things. Like all of her training would be to for my medical conditions. The only one not is taking my socks off. That's because I don't have mobility issues. I can take my socks off. But we still do that because that is her favorite job. And when you have a dog, dogs have self-esteem. And when dogs want a job, They want a job. So if you find a job that your dog does and wants to do, never discourage them from doing that job. They're gonna you'll always be able to train them. I watched a video of a guy who Georgie's feisty today. Yeah, well, Megan and Tug gave them a shout out. They were talking about the Timu crew. Uh, but yeah, the uh, what was I talking about there? Yeah, if you give your dog a job, you'll always be able to train them. I watched a video of a dog that was like 13 years old. It was, had a hard time moving. It was, an old dog, and but it's still the guy said, I still subscribe to my newspaper because that's this dog's job. And the dog was going out. Yep, make sure if you're not sub to the Huffs, but this dog's job was to go get the newspaper. And when he'd let his dogs out, that dog would move real slow, and another dog would go to the paper and he'd growl at it like, "No, that's what I do." But it's all attached to the dog's self-esteem. They want to help the pack. They want to do something. So you should absolutely train your dogs to do one job, regardless what it is. Um, and yeah, you're gonna have a lot of luck with that dog. Now, from what she was talking about in her post, the dog is supposed to be trained to keep her corralled out in the yard or something. uh that's not medical. So that dog, even if trained to do that, would not qualify as a service dog. It has to help with something about her disability. um Webs offering certificates need to be shut down as they are scams. Well, service dogs don't require a certificate. Like if someone's showing you their certificate for their service dog, they're full of shit. That's a fraudulent dog, and that's my next point. Service dog fraud is a major, major problem. So unless if they come up with something that this dog would actually do medically, that dog would be a fraudulent service dog, and that is fraud, and it's punishable by fines and possibly even prison time. So it's just another way of Lynette and John just scamming the system. There's nothing I can see for Harley Grace's condition that a service dog could provide any type of service for. Keeping her safe in the yard and out of the street, that no, that's not what a medical service dog like, that's not a medical condition. So yeah, it just seems like another way for them to scam and, BS. Now, an emotional support dog, yeah, the dog could absolutely be an emotional support dog. However, with an emotional support dog, there's less protections. Really, with an emotional support dog, now that one you do require documentation. The only thing that's required then is a letter from a doctor, not even like any certificate or anything. Um, there's no registration or anything like that. All that's required is a note from a doctor, and that only applies really to housing, that you can't get kicked out of your house because of your emotional support animal. Service dogs and service horses, miniature horses, are the only two service animals that the ADA recognizes. So if someone says, "Oh, I have a service cat or a service donkey," yeah, no, that's full of shit. Um, Only dogs and miniature horses. Everything else would be an emotional support animal. Now, when people ask me, well, why are all these people able to fly with dogs that are not service dogs? ADA is exempt from the Americans with Disabilities Act. Yeah, the FAA is exempt. The FAA has their own rules because flying is different. Flying is considered a privilege in this country. It's not a right. So that's why they can say, hey, you have these disabilities we cannot accommodate, so you can't fly. And that's where you see people, they can take their pets. Now with that, the that's where I do have to provide documentation. I've got to sign a whole thing saying if my dog is unruly or anything, I get kicked off the flight, I don't get any type of reimbursement from the airline. I also have to say that I've got to provide medical documentation on my dog. I got to show that my dog's up on vaccinations and is healthy. There are breeds of dogs that are banned from flying. Normally, it's like um, boxers and pugs, things, dogs with the short nose, because those have breathing problems. And when you get onto a flight, there's less oxygen. Oxygen gets pumped in. Those type of dogs have been known to have seizures and pass away on flights. So the airline just says, yeah, we're not going to take those breeds. There's just too much of a risk. People trying to sue us for their dog dying when we didn't do anything wrong. So the FAA, totally different rules. Glory is less than 20 pounds, so she can sit at my feet. I believe it's 25 pounds is the threshold. Once a dog is over that, you either have to put them into a crate and they put into checked bags, or you can buy them a seat, but you're buying a seat for that dog. And I've had, Glory jump up on seats, and the flight attendants tell me, "Hey, you didn't purchase that seat. She's got to be on the floor." And I make her get down. She's a dog, like the mentality of a 4-year-old. They're just going to do things sometimes, and that's the way it is. But the hardest other thing for training that dog is to make sure it passes temperament training. It has to ignore other dogs. It has to be ruly. So if you take your dog to Walmart and your dog starts barking and fussing up a storm, even if it's a service dog, you can be tossed out. And there are the fraudulent people do not know these rules, so they're the ones who will always argue. Me with my service dog, there's been times where she's barked at something and I immediately correct her, because dogs are like kids. Sometimes they just they lose their place. But as soon as she's corrected, she's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I gotta I gotta fall in line." Same thing with uh you know being potty trained. And I've had a problem. There are times where Glory has gone potty inside public places because she's like, I gotta go right now. Even though she's potty trained, she will alert me, and like she's got ways of letting me know that she has to go. But there's been times where like I'm in a rush to get out of the building, and she just doesn't make it. So I'm cognizant, if that happens, I can be thrown out. I always clean up after her, but I really do try to give her, before I go into anywhere, I give her the opportunity to go to the bathroom, and she's very good. We have a command for her to go to the bathroom, and she does a really good job. But there are those times where if I'm in a building too long and she's alerting me that she's got to go, I stop what I'm doing and I take her, because she could have an accident and then we can be asked to leave. But the people who have fake service dogs never acknowledge these type of things, and so I'll be interested in seeing. The other thing I do want to say: dogs in training. Dogs in training are not service dogs. They are not protected at all. So while she has this dog and it's in training, it is not a service dog and it can be denied. Anything outside of those lines that I outlined would be fraud. So I just wanted you guys to know all that and see all that. So thank you so much for being here this morning. I do have to get going, but as always, thank you for being worth serving.